Diagwich. Paul is einem dom. Tommy got here. No. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Little overexcited. Got my Irish on. Why am I so excited? Well, today, the 17th day of June, it's a product tasting day, so that's very exciting. And not only am I focusing still on the island of Ireland, but today's product comes from a short hop from where my family lives in the north of Ireland. So we're off to Crossgar to taste some Irish gin. Now, just before we dive into the Shortcross, I need to take care of some housekeeping items. The first being, if you're not at the age of majority where you live, then you shouldn't be watching this video. The nature of Gi-Une is an alcoholic product, and as such, you need to be able to legally buy and consume alcohol where you live in order to follow along with what I'm doing. So, in Ontario, where I live, you would need to be 19 years or older. So wherever it is that you live, that's the age you need to be to legally buy and consume alcohol to continue watching. For everybody else, here we go. So because I have family that's so close to where the Shortcross is distilled, I invited some of them to join me for a little bit of a chat for this video. However, when I reached out to them, they were in a bit of a foul mood, and they were too chicken to say anything. So, but no, wait, that's not right either. I misspoke. It's not that they were too chicken to say anything. It's that actually they're two chickens. This is Ronald and Matilda, chickens that live in the backyard of my cousin's place, owned by Julie and Neville in Darracross, just literally a stone's throw from Crossgar, where Shortcross is distilled. Okay, so enough clucking around, back to the gin. Shortcross was founded in 2012 by husband and wife team Fiona Boyd and David Armstrong, and is produced at the Radman Estate Distillery on the couple's historic family estate in Crossgar, as I said, which is just outside of Downpatrick. Since their official opening 6 years ago, Shortcross has gone from being Northern Ireland's first craft gin distillery to being an international award winner. Using a neutral grain spirit as its base, Shortcross also incorporates numerous native botanicals and products found on their sprawling property. This provides for a true taste and a true sense of Northern Ireland in each and every sip. And while I would like to chat more about Shortcross, I think it would be much better to have the founders tell us about their product, their goal, and the profile of Shortcross. I am very pleased to be able to share with you a bit of the conversation that I had with Fiona Boyd and David Armstrong.
Okay, so we're Shortcross. So the name Shortcross, this is our bottle here. The name Shortcross comes from our local village, Crossgar. So it's a Gaelic translation. It means the Shortcross.
So the little coin emblem that we have on the bottle is what's called a Shortcross penny. It's an old Anglo-Saxon, Anglo-Celtic coin, but from an Irish perspective. It was the first coin to be minted in Dublin in the 12th or 13th century by the Normans as a way of exporting Irish silver. And as we always wanted to export our product, it was sort of perfect logo to tie in with our brand name.
Very nice, very nice. I'm going to grab my bottle just while we're doing this. So one moment, please. When you talk export, David, which country? I mean, obviously Canada, but what other countries are you exporting to currently?
We're across Europe. We're into Australia. We're hoping then to launch in Pennsylvania in the States this summer.
Oh, very good. Very good. Very good. So from what I understand from your backgrounds, I mean, David, you were an engineer or are an engineer, if that's correct. And you were also a beer aficionado, and Fiona was a gin and tonic aficionado. What, with a penchant for premium, for good gin, what did you feel was missing from the gin market that made you want to dive into gin?
Everything. I guess when we started, there was really only one other gin on the market here in Ireland, Cork Dry Gin. So for us, we wanted to recreate a gin that was reminiscent of our surroundings. So we're quite lucky where we're located here. We're located in about 500 acres of forestry here, so we have like amazing gardens and all of those wild forage botanicals. So we put apples, elderflowers, which are in season right now, and we're picking elderberries, wild clover, and apples into our gin.
Very nice.
So for us, we wanted to try and redefine what an Irish gin could or should be. So, you know, for us, there was no point just trying to create another London dry style type of gin. What we wanted to do was create a gin that reminded us of our home here at Redemption Estate. Is, you know, we're set in 500 acres plus, which is beautiful Irish countryside. So we really wanted to take our inspiration from the forests and the gardens here on the estate. So as Fiona said, the elderflowers, the elderberries we take from the forest, the wild clover we take from the lawns, and the apples we take from the walled garden on the estate.
So when we talk about the clover, I'll be honest, it's the first time I think I've ever smelled clover in a product, period. What made you choose clover? I mean, it seemingly has a unique smell, but what was it? Was there a light bulb moment that went, that's going to be a key botanical?
Well, we distill just about everything on the estate, from wild garlic, which doesn't distill like garlic. It's strangely metallic.
Oh, really?
And the clover is actually something a lot of people, a lot of farmers will eat because it's quite sweet, but it's just, when you smell the aroma of it in the gardens, particularly at this time of year when the bees are going crazy for the pollen, it's just this wonderfully soft, sweet, uplifting aroma. So we thought it would be perfect in the gin. And the secret was then just to be able to distill the botanical itself so that we got the flavors across.
No, it's absolutely lovely, and it almost, would I be correct in saying it almost adds a vanilla-like or vanilla-esque
yeah,
sense to it?
sort of nice, light, sweet notes.
Definitely.
So with our gin,
go ahead, Fiona, please, by all means.
with our gin, you're gonna, it's quite juniper forward. It's quite we really did want to create a gin and tonic, or a gin that made a really great gin and tonic and stood up to the tonic, and that's one of the reasons why we bottle at 46% as well.
Fair enough, but at 46%, I still find it very well balanced. Gin can sometimes be medicinal, or it can be a little harsh, but very smooth. It doesn't taste boozy, it doesn't smell boozy, and just all those layers just seemingly play very well with each other.
Yeah, it is quite a layered gin, and it has a really long finish to it. And that's down to how we distill it. So we distill one batch of botanicals in every single distillation. We don't multi-shot Shortcross.
Wow. Talk about some great insight from the founders themselves. And again, I'm so grateful to both Fiona and David for taking the time to chat with me and to share some fantastic insights into their Shortcross gin. So hearing all about that gin really gets my sensory motors going. Let's have a taste, shall we? So at first glance, clear out of the bottle with a fairly pronounced intensity. You know, you get those aromas of Jupiter. That's that pininess that we talk about with gin. So Jupiter, citrus, there's floral that jumps out. I get a touch of cereal, and that makes sense for the grain neutral spirit that they're using. Definitely some apple in there, some herbal notes, some soft spice, a little mineral, and I get just a little hint of vanilla from that clover that David was talking about in the video. Let's go in for a taste, shall we? Really, again, always want to coat the palate, get all those flavor and sensory receptacles firing. So on the palate, juniper, citrus, orangey kind of lemoniness, a little bit of cereal, apple, herbal notes. Go in for another taste. Definitely get some floral, almost a kind of berry tone, which I believe comes from that elderberry. A touch of that minerality. So when I say minerality, it's almost like a little bit of saline that's in there. And in my discussions with David, I think we were talking about the water source. They're using well water from the estate to produce this, and there is a lot of minerals naturally in that water. So that's probably where that comes from. It's a very nice feeling. And then there's a peppery kiss of spice, a little cinnamony. Mouthfeel, it's a bit of a slippery mouthfeel. Long finish, juniper, citrus, floral, spice. Fantastic. I'm going in for sip number 3. Could drink that all day long. Absolutely fantastic. So there's many layers. It's wonderfully balanced. This is a testament to small batch craft gin distillation. And that's the difference with Shortcross. Now, craft distilling with that neutral base allows for, and I'm going to quote David here because he said it so eloquently, it allows them to create a blank canvas where the desired flavor profile can be painted. W.B. Yeats, eat your heart out. And I agree with him 100%. Just, it's fantastic stuff. Their unique and custom built still that they have at the distillery also plays an integral part in producing just the right amount of everything for that harmonious flavor profile. Again, layers and layers and layers, it builds, and nothing really competes with each other. Just yum. I can't wait to visit them in person soon, and if I'm very lucky, I may even be able to get a little dram of their upcoming whiskey that they're in the middle of producing. So, okay, fantastic stuff, that's what I say. How can you get it? Well, if you live in Ontario, great news. You can now find it at the LCBO, stock number 11348, $40.80, an absolute bargain for a gin of this caliber. Absolute bargain. In Quebec, it's also listed there, so for my friends and family that like the SAQ, stock number 132-19853, and it's listed at $64 in Quebec. $64 in Quebec, still a bargain for quality of this caliber. Little trick as well, as you'll see, the bottle has been hand dipped in wax on the top. I'm not sure how well that comes out, but when you see it in person, you'll notice that that's there. So that hand dipping is their little personal touch to let everyone know that you're buying something that really is a product of their desires, their goals, and of themselves. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with hand-dipped bottles and the easiest way to open them up, David gave me a great little tip. You take your bar knife or any kind of knife, corkscrew, bar knife, and you just run a slit up the back of the wax, and then it just peels off, and away you go, and you're ready to dive in. So, handy little tip from our friends at Shortcross. So I talked about Ontario and Quebec. As David mentioned in the video, it's soon to be available in Pennsylvania. So for all my Pennsylvania folks, start keeping your eyes open for this. And of course, Shortcross is widely available across Europe and Australia. So as I wrap up this tasting, I sincerely want to thank Fiona and David for their kindness in speaking with me. I also want to thank you all for tuning in. Please continue to follow, like, and share Somm for All posts. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And don't forget, tomorrow, Friday, will be my gin cocktail happy hour live on Facebook, where I'll be making gin cocktails inspired by the Irish products I tasted this week, and where I'll also be answering your gin-related questions. So tell your friends, tell everyone you know, join me. It's a fun time to kick off your weekend. Goodbye for now. Be safe, everyone. Be well. Good of my agot. Agus slán go fáil from Somm for All.